Stop moving it.
All right.
Man. All right,
Oh.
we're live and stuff. Hey, welcome back to
Hey.
Pass the Aisle
Pass the aisle with Kevin.
and Meg.
Yeah. And we're here in our office today.
Yeah, we are here.
We keep changing the locations
And
around
are
our
you
home.
okay? Okay, so I can't wear this. I want to sit back correctly. We have some good posture during our show.
Yeah.
Last time my knees hurt like crazy.
Yeah, so do you want to cut through the bullshit?
Rob told us. No, I already do. So I mean, it takes a while for us to like warm up and get used to each other, used to the mic, used to this whole wonky setup. But then I said also too, like, it's okay. It's like, it's natural. Like I was looking back at some old videos, like when we did Get in the Lab, when it's just you and I was basically dragging you to do it. And like we really didn't really know how to, do stuff together in a way that was fun. It was like, you should do this. And then it's like, yeah, I should, but then I don't feel like it. And then
and the podcast was mainly about business, and business can be cut and dry.
Well, me too is like, I was like trying to figure out what's my voice in terms of content, because I was basically directing and doing the whole thing. I really wanted to do something with you, to get involved. Like, I know there's like, even before a long time ago, like I was telling Rob and Bree, I was like, dude, tell this guy, we were sitting having dinner with Rob and Bree. And I was like, tell this guy, encourage this guy to be more like, it's good to show more of your, the other side that people don't see of you, the silly side, or, just you be you kind of thing.
Yeah.
Versus the very professional. There's nothing wrong with that. But then as we move along, as we move in through the years of being in business for a long time, I think people are interested because they want to know that there's somebody on the other side that's like a friend.
Yeah.
Rob was saying stuff like, dude, Kevin's like the homie or something like that, like besides being a good photographer. And that's exactly what I said to you. But it always is more powerful, one, when a male is saying it to you, and and it's a client, so you're getting double validation that it's okay to be me.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of professionals, for sure, they're like, where do I draw that line between being myself, and trying to let down the veil a little bit, like let down like this whole image, this whole brand, and just be a human. Just be me. Like, there is a line, right? And for everybody, it changes.
It changes.
Right?
Yeah, I feel like when we first started out, it's whatever that I knew in business, right?
And it was it was working.
And it probably just worked for that generation that we were shooting.
Yeah, and we were young.
And there was no social media to be transparent.
Right.
There was none of that.
Right.
Transparency is when you meet them in person.
Right. That's it.
That was all you're going to get.
Yeah.
But nowadays, and then there was a little bit of that fakeness a long time on Facebook, even prior to Instagram.
Yeah.
And then YouTube came in. I mean, YouTube always been there.
Right.
And people just didn't know how to be themselves. They always looked towards Hollywood as a role model.
Yeah.
And how they should act. And just movies, over time, you're just watching like all these people that you want to, try
emulate.
Should I imitate them? Should I be like them?
Right.
And whatever imagery that we have in our mind to be a good established business owner.
Yeah. What does it mean? Like, what does it mean to be professional?
Obviously you don't want to be like, oh, I'm drunk, showing up drunk.
Of course, right.
You want to have a smoke with me,
like
in the front,
or touching them a lot,
or
like
things like that.
Even patting somebody on the back or something, like too much touching or something like. Yeah, there's a weird like, well, what's okay?
I can't see that.
Yeah.
Like I see if you were a family member and they hired you to do a portrait, then that's a different story. But then when someone that barely knows you,
well, it's interesting because the way that you learn how to be, like how I've learned to be here on the camera and to be okay with it, that there's a camera in my face and that we're actually talking about our real marriage. Nothing is scripted.
Yeah.
We don't even check in with each other anymore. Hey, what are we going to talk about? We don't do any of that. Like Anne asked me yesterday, do you guys plan out what you're going to talk about? And I was like, in a way, like if there's something emotional that I want to address to you, and I told her this yesterday in the office, I said, how we do it is no, we don't script anything. But how I do it, because I'm not so brave yet, I'm still learning to like approach you the right way if there's something that bothers me. And I'll find ways, like, for example, last week, I just tagged you in a Facebook post because I saw something that triggered to me how I could address something that I've been having an issue with. And I go, cool, I'm just going to tag him and hope that he reads it. Because I'm not sure too, like how to even like address it.
What was it?
It was like about the whole the gift giving thing, I think.
I didn't see that.
Well, we already talked about it. Well, to clarify, okay, so for you to clarify, see, this is why this is so great, is because as you guys could see, like our communication is always going to need improvement. But I love that Past the Aisle is a safe place for us to go. It's like therapy where where we can't say something hurtful because we have to be really clear about our words because it's being recorded, right? There's this weird sort of third person in the room, which is the camera and the mic that records what we say. So now we're more accountable. We have to be more clear about what we say versus behind closed doors. I can say anything. You can say anything, right? So I like that in order for us to move forward and progress in our relationship, we have this like therapeutic area that's super safe to be like, this is what I meant. Yeah. And then you can go, okay, right? Like we can't attack each other because that's obviously something that we wouldn't want to show.
Yeah.
Like unconsciously, I'm not going to want to scream or be unreasonable or be unreasonable. So to clarify, it was about like the Facebook post was about I saw it on JK News, and then David was talking about or Bart was saying, hey, I'm trying to, like, I know Gio's love language and it's this, and she likes romantic stuff, but I'm not a romantic guy, so how do I do that? And he made the analogy and he said, if I know Gio likes Italian food but I'm a sushi chef, how do I speak her language? That was his analogy, right? And then David comes in. He's like, well, I know exactly what you're saying. I did that for many years with his girlfriend, Muriel. And then he's like, but what you just said right there is super selfish because you're still thinking about you. So instead of going, how can I give a gift to my wife? You're thinking, how can I, in the limitations of me and what I'm comfortable with, give a gift to my wife. So he's like, right, what you said right there is super selfish because you still find a way to weasel in your wants into the gift or into the service. And then I said, then I thought of that. I was like, oh, that was like us a couple times. And then I always had a problem with it, but I didn't know how to address it because it's like, on one side, it's like, hey, shut up. You're getting a gift.
Yeah.
Aren't you appreciative? I'd say this to myself. Aren't you appreciative you're getting a gift? You know, that he's buying something for you. But I said, wait, long time ago. And I would always think in my head, like, why do I feel like that? Like, if it's like kind of like a gift for yourself as well, right? Like I only get a gift if it's also for you. That's how it would feel. And so I was like, how do I approach that to you? And then when they created that episode, I had more like perspective on it. And the way that they were explaining it, they were not like angry with each other. You know, Gio was not angry. It's just like, oh, that's the reason why. That's where that behavior comes from. The intention is always good. And maybe this is why you feel a certain way about it. And so when they were like, they just explained everything, Bart was just like, oh, okay, I see the difference. Because all of us are selfish beings, all of us, me too. Like when I got pizza for me, but I felt bad. I'm like, well, what's Chi going to eat? I'll just get him pizza. When I already knew you don't like cheese or you're not supposed to eat cheese, but I got it anyway because I wanted pizza, Right. And then you told me on the show, you're like, don't do that, because you could have texted me. You could have called me and asked me what I want. Well, I said, oh, okay, I get you.
We run into this issue, I would say, all the time when we're out. Because every time I always ask, like, what do you want to eat? Like, what do you feel like? Mm-hmm. And then you'll say it, and then you'll be like, why are you even asking me if you don't want it?
Yeah. Well, it's so funny because you will ask me, what do you want to eat?
I'm very indecisive when it comes to food.
And I'm like, at this point, I don't give a fuck where we eat. Like, just choose it. I'll find something on the menu, and it always comes to that.
As you can see, you're less emotional attached to food, and I'm very emotional.
Well, that's why I tell you, you choose.
But then I'm indecisive when it comes to that, and I have like so many damn options around here.
Right.
So many options.
Yeah.
But then it's been with this diet change, it's pretty cool that you clearly know what you can eat, which is always steering towards sushi. It's always sushi.
It makes it really easy.
It's easier now. Yeah. It's just sushi. Yeah, that's the safest thing you can eat.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. For both of us. And I think you're doing a really good job too. Like, for one, listening to that, right? I just told you, right? This is the beauty of this show. I don't think many husbands and wives have that opportunity to talk to each other the way that we do here, and for the other person to actually hear what the other person is saying. Listening is a very hard skill.
Even having this time, like, there's not enough time throughout a day, especially when you're stuck at 9 to 5.
Right. I mean, we're very lucky.
Yeah, we're very lucky to always self-improve on our marriage and our experiences that we go through.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, it's been really nice, like, talking to Bree, talking to Ann, having this opportunity to discuss and improve my marriage. And we don't script anything. So what you guys see here is exactly like, it's all new. It's all new. It's all things that we don't plan.
Everything that's on top of our mind.
Yeah, everything that's very, very current. Yeah. So, and we're very happy to be able to share it with you guys. So, and
thank you, Bree and Raw, for recommending that show, You.
Oh,
on Netflix. That is some twisted shit. Like,
dude. So we just finished You on Netflix. And it's really good. Check it out. Check it out. It's only 12 episodes or something.
I really don't know, but we binge watched it over like 3 days.
Over 3 days, yeah. Really good show. Twisted. The biggest part of that show, if I could bring that into our show, which was a matter of control. And I think it's prudent for us to maybe discuss it a little bit, because when you're in a relationship, there is this scale of control. We've felt with that before, not so much now, not really now.
And trust,
for sure. I wrote an article on the KevinLeVueWeddings.com website. That's our main website, where you can find a current article that I wrote about trust. And I love it when I get to write an article, because often it's just like when you're tired and you don't want to post something, you're like, can you write an article? I'm like, dope, okay. And I get to be in the zone of writing, and it's spur of the moment. Something magic happens because the pressure's on for you. You're like, can you write something? I'm like, okay. And then I want to get it done. I want to post it. And then I get in the zone, and I'm able to kind of, my aim and intention is always to create something good. You said create something emotional, right? And I was like, okay. Like, I can always go there. So that's great. I have that.
It was a great article, skill. By the way.
Thank you for reading it also.
Yeah, you're always like good at writing. And
and I
feel like every time you write a piece, it really takes you there.
Yeah.
Like the words that your chosen words in every sentence is very articulate.
Thanks, Bam.
Yeah, but I feel like from the beginning, like first reading Megan's essay in college, I was like,
what essay was it?
I don't know, some Asian American women's studies. You remember that freaking essay? I don't even remember.
I don't remember the essay.
Yeah.
Oh, but I did.
But your writing was good, and my writing was shit, as usual.
It's not shit, B. You have a very professional, thorough writing style.
Yeah, but
like you think of all the things.
Yeah, I think of all the things.
You definitely think of all the things. I don't know how
to spread it all out.
Yeah, no, that's okay.
It jumps from like A to Z and then back to A, and then And that was my major like critique in English.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they were like, "You're everywhere on this essay, and it becomes 8 pages where you can shorten this to 4."
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, whatever."
Well, that's why you tell stories and photos.
Yeah,
See? Yeah.
yeah.
And I fill in the gap by writing
Yeah.
and stuff.
Thank goodness,
Yeah.
I found something. Yeah, yeah. When I was a kid, I was like thinking, like, you know, what am I going to do? What am I good at?
Yeah.
Like, my mom would sign me up in Aikido, Taekwondo, like
Yeah.
every freaking martial art, and then going into sports and everything. And I couldn't do flips like what some of these martial arts could do, or
I thought you were going to say what
Or-
Steven does.
or like, or that. I don't know what the hell he does, but
He's always flipping.
yeah, man. Got a girlfriend now. He's flipping more than ever.
Yeah, that makes sense. Makes sense.
Stop flipping, man.
Let him flip.
All
B.
right,
Let him
cheerleader.
flip.
Anyways, yeah, like you know, you always kind of get worried when you're a kid, and you're like watching all these superhero movies, right? You're like,
okay.
hey, they found what they're good at. They have a talent,
Yeah.
and then you're asking yourself, what
my
talent do you
talent?
have? Yeah,
Yeah.
what's my talent?
Yeah.
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 And I was afraid, and like I'll always ask myself, even after graduating high school, what the hell am I going to do in college?
But you found it in college.
Yeah, but you know, that was surprising.
Yeah.
It just kind of caught you off guard. I didn't even know this was a talent, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, when I first met you back in 2008, and then we had started living together already. So we were friends first when we started living together. And then you showed me you're already shooting. And I think one of the photos is still up on Facebook. And it's this really contrasty, almost sepia of a bride, has your old logo
Yeah.
on it. And then I remember saying, wow, it's like in a magazine, you know?
Yeah.
And then from there, like you just keep shooting,
Yeah.
you know? But I think it's really great. You found your passion in college. Like that's what you're supposed to do. People are supposed to find out what they
Yeah.
want to do in life in college. But that is a lot of pressure.
Well, I know, like back in high school, my friends or even back in middle school,
Yeah.
my friends and I would always just kind of do video projects. That's what we would do.
That's cool.
And we would always make movies for like.
I know, and you made that little movie for the
Yeah,
college class. I was
those are
like,
things
whoa.
that we would do back in the day for fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you made like a scary movie with like a scary something with my cousins.
Yeah. And I thought that was fun.
Yeah, yeah,
Like it was fun.
yeah,
It was being creative,
Yeah.
and there was no boundaries.
yeah.
Yeah. And
So
then,
can I ask you, like,
yeah.
remember when I was super getting into video, right?
Yeah.
And I have my theories why. So here's my question. So I was super getting into videos back in like 2012. I started my YouTube channel. I wanted to do like a podcast interview show because I was listening to David Simon Garland. Yeah. And then when I think I didn't know how to ask you the right way, or maybe get you, I really don't know. I forget. But like, how come it seemed like you didn't, whereas you were saying like, cool, this is fun. Like, let's make creative stuff. But then by the time I was super into it, you were not into it. And doing something like a show, or doing something like videos, or doing something on video, like you suddenly became, it was like a 180 almost, where we switched places, where when I first met you, we were super wanting to do stuff like be on camera, do fun photo shoots.
It was also fear-based because...
And you didn't take pictures of us too. For the longest time, you never wanted to take pictures. And when I asked you to take pictures, like when we go on vacation, it was like, right? And then
Yeah.
I would get mad because I'm like, don't you want to capture us?
Yeah, a client asked me that recently. Is like, you probably don't take any pictures when you're with your family or you're
Yeah.
out. I'm like, yeah, I try and enjoy the moment.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many times I've been behind that camera, and
But everybody else gets their memories.
yeah, everybody
documented
else
except
gets their
us.
memory. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
I was just, during that time, I was just burnt out. That
Yeah.
was like the last thing.
Yeah. So that was my theory too. It's
Yeah.
like, you're you're in the crux of 2012 was important because we incorporated the business. So and I was not fully on board. I was reluctantly shooting every weekend, not getting paid at that time, not feeling appreciated. We did not know how to talk to each other. I didn't know how to approach you. I was still very, very scared to even say anything. And in the same vein, I also scared you to even come to me with anything. I remember that. It was like we were just too scared, I think, and to feeling not safe, and we did not trust each other.
And the video part, the video aspect, I was like, yeah, I could do it, but I already have one hobby. And
you were full-fledged in it.
My mindset was before I would like jump from one hobby to another, and it got really expensive. And I found that I'm good at this, so
and
I'm
you're
just
making money.
Yeah, I'm just doing that.
Yeah.
Like, there's no point of me going into video,
Right?
which I tried already, and,
Wait.
and I invested with Tyson and Michael, and it totally burnt me. So that's why I was like, I'm not getting into this shit anymore.
Right. Yeah. But, you know, during that time when we tried to launch a video thingy and all of that stuff, like, I thought it was a really good lesson because I knew we could do it. It was just a matter of like, I think when you're young, you're like, I can do everything.
Yeah.
Of course, it's not a bad ambition or attitude to have. I can do everything.
I still think we can still do everything.
We're still doing kind of like what we set out to do.
We tried it last year. We thought we could do everything.
No, I mean everything, like as in offering, because you came up with the one-stop shop idea long time ago, and I said, well, you know, if you want to do video and you like heavily invested in other people who were not trained. You invested in equipment, right? So it's just the way you went about it. The idea is one thing. Like, you're an idea man, and I'm more like, that's why I'm like in the managerial position that I am, is like, how does it work? How does the logistics of it, right?
It was crazy that I even thought of that back in the day. Like, if it was successful, that would have been crazy.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, you can, Gary Vee likes to say, ideas are shit until you execute, right? Yeah. And so once I heard that, I really stuck to my guns about it. I believe it with all my heart because I know it. We lived it. It's like, yeah, you can have all the ideas in the world. And then what I try to do when you have an idea is, you know, unfortunately bring you back down to earth. But the idea, the ambition, the visionary of the entrepreneur, which is you in your role, is so necessary. Like what I was telling you, I mean, you like to tell me we did it right, you know, back when you started KLV photography, but I appreciate that, you know. Yeah, we worked on it together, and I did contribute, but we cannot forget that you were the one that spearheaded it and said, and you took the leap of faith, and you said, I'm gonna do it, even though I can relatively do nursing, but I hate it, and it's safe. But you said to yourself, I'm gonna just go for it.
Yeah.
Right. I'm just going to go for it. And it takes a different kind of person. I don't think I would be able to do that. I'm so happy in my role because when I was young, like you, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I honestly thought I was going to die in a car crash early because I thought, oh, maybe that's why I don't know what to do.
How did you thought you were going to die in a
car
crash?
I thought I was going to die early because I was like, dude, I'm not passionate about anything. I'm good in a lot of things.
Is that why you attracted that accident?
Maybe.
Oh.
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, during that time was very tumultuous. Like,
I would never think of that.
I thought of it because I thought I was never passionate about anything. Like I was saying, I was good in a lot of stuff. I was MVP in sports. I did really well in Taekwondo. But then whenever it was time to really, like, when the pressure was on, like, I could not perform. I couldn't execute. And unlike you, and I see the difference is like, oh, that's what it means to be like a visionary and an entrepreneur. It's like when the pressure is on, you can still create, you can still do it, right? And I said, that's the difference. And I used to have these reoccurring dreams for the longest time. They stopped like maybe three years ago, where I'd be climbing really steep stairs, super steep, right? Climbing, like I'm going to reach the top, I'm going to win, and then I fall. And I had that dream forever. And I'd have also dreams where I'm punching, and I'm punching so hard, but I don't land the punch. You know, when you feel it, like you can land the punch, like I'm punching air. I'm not landing my punch. I'm not executing. So I'm not doing that. Now when we started Bells and I started to realize, oh, I think my purpose and my passion lies in the role of supporter. And I'm okay with that. And I accepted that. And when I could be your supporter and I could be the supporter of our team, that's when things started to click. And I could really thrive and be passionate about that.
Yeah, you found your role.
I found my role and I was super happy. I told this to Michelle too. I was like, dude, I'm so okay with being a jack of all trades and a master of none. I'm so okay with that because it means that I can support the master, you, or
I just feel, I always had ideas.
Yeah.
Growing up.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
And there always been crazy ideas or creative ideas. But I just always have the lack of supply of people,
resources, the logistics.
Yeah, the logistics.
How to manage it.
Oh,
all guys.
That, all the back end stuff.
Yeah.
To funnel these ideas.
Right.
To make it
come true. Right.
Yeah.
Right. So that's the beauty of it, and that's what I read in a book that my good friend Vince, client of ours before when he first started, recommended to me, the E-Myth, and I learned, oh, those are the 3 roles. So okay, the first role is the entrepreneur, that's you. Second role, which everybody forgets about, is the manager, the management. Like, how does it happen from A to B? What's all the back end systemizing stuff that goes on to make sure that your product is consistent, right, for a long time? Third job is the worker, the technician. You do that too. So you're actually a worker and an entrepreneur in our business. And I'm a gopher. I can really kind of go anywhere, but not really the visionary. Like, I can visionary some things in our business, like marketing stuff, or you tell me your idea, and then I'm like, okay, this is how it can happen, right? Often you'll like, oh, I want to do this. I'm like, yeah, you tell me your vision, and then I'll let you know how we can actually do it. Yeah. And so that's the beauty of why, again, like, why I think we're still in business too. It's so hard for people to do all the things, to be the worker and the technician, to be the manager, if they even know, if they even are aware that they need to manage their business and be the visionary, right? So we're blessed.
Yeah, there's many different.
There's so many things.
Personalities.
Yeah.
Or different roles that you have to play in each job.
Right.
I feel.
Right.
And when juggling all that, which, looking back now and that we split everything up, it's pretty insane.
Yeah.
How the mind shifted to do one thing to another. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel I was telling Anne, I was like, dude, only maybe 2 months ago I did not see this as a possibility. I was really afraid that it wasn't going to be possible to work together because I had still not accepted my role as being a supporter fully, right? Yeah. And I think there's always times where we fight our ego. We're like, but I want to do it.
Yeah, you're always fighting your ego.
Yeah. Like, you want to, like for a minute, it was hard for you to let go of email. Like, could you trust me to answer correctly? Right? You're like, but you don't know how to negotiate. And then I got mad. And I was like, well, fucking teach me. It's like, it's not that hard, But everybody has their own fears about letting some of themselves go.
Yeah.
And trusting somebody else to handle it with care. Yeah. Not just handle it, but handle with care, right? Like, we're learning this with our team where it's like, hey, are you going to represent me the way I want you to represent us as a company when you're on your own, when you're flying solo? Or are you going to betray us, right? Or whatever, or not show us in the best light? And so those are the things that a visionary, somebody who's built something from nothing, those are the fears that you had, which is valid. It's up to the team, and it's a two-way street. It's up to, both parties to be like, hey, I'm trusting you with my baby. Are you going to take care of my baby? And you make that really clear, like, oh, okay, this is your baby. I understand. And then making that really, really clear between each party. So until we could do that and really trust each other, and that's something I think you don't just get it too. You don't just be like, I trust you. No, it's like every day there's little things, little flags or what do you
Yeah,
call it?
because
Accomplishments.
yeah, you'll get. That's why there's ladders in business.
Right.
That's why they make them.
Right.
Because those guys can't just throw a title on this person and automatically think they're going to achieve it.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Yeah.
There's trust that goes both ways.
So I get it in big business and why they have those ladders now.
Yeah, they have
And-
systems.
And how you have stages back in the day when in the county you'll like stage 1, stage
Right.
2, or you
Yeah.
know, all these.
But it's just painfully slower.
Yeah.
A lot slower.
But it's painfully slow because they want to make sure
You understand.
that you understand, and it's just not every day someone gets to step up.
Right.
It's a challenge.
Right.
It's to basically grow you mentally.
Yeah. Are you
Yeah.
ready? Like
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of the stuff that you learn in high school or in college is frivolous. But
Yeah.
you're going through the motion. You're learning how to be a decent human being
And
at
I
least.
felt, when we trained John, right? Or when John was working with us, we just gave him everything. So he didn't earn it.
That's what I said. Yeah.
And you said it.
Yeah.
And
But I said it after the fact, after saying, let's give him everything. And then we learned after the fact, like, oh, this is why he may not appreciate it as much the way that we were expecting him to, because we were not clear. Right. And so, I said a lot of times before in the shows, like, man, we did our best at the time, but I learned so much with Jonathan with us. And he gave us an opportunity to learn, like how to be a better leader, how to be a better teacher, how to be a better trainer, So the fact that he's not with us is fine. Isn't it weird how so I came from 9-to-5 culture, right? And really,
you have to implement those skills.
yeah. Well, when I quit it, I'm like, I'm out of here. This bureaucratic red tape bullshit, and we're kind of like back to like still taking on the same. I guess big business, and despite the red tape and the politics and the dumb stuff that goes on in 9-to-5 businesses in terms of like getting promoted and climbing the ladder, the intention is good.
The intention is good because they've been in business for a long time.
Right.
Yeah.
They figured
you
something
may hate
out.
them. You may hate AT&T and Verizon,
But they got a system.
They got a good system.
They
and
do.
It works. Even though,
Oh,
even though you employees always complain how much they get paid for working for them, but still.
But hey, look at all that. Like I think when you're getting paid minimum wage too, you're not realizing the whole system that has gone into
forming
it, creating it from nothing as well. Somebody having the vision.
And creating a culture for you, an environment for you to work in.
Right. And making you feel almost automatically like you belong to that company. When I talked to Michael, my cousin Michael, who works for T-Mobile, and he impressed me so much. It was at our wedding, and he just was like this other person. And I could see, and this is when I was trying to figure out, how do I build a team? How to create a system? Because I knew zero about it. I was reading books, and I saw he was the perfect example of how a system works really well. It makes the employee feel like they are owning their role. And he was saying we and our, and like that, like how an employee says, we just opened up 10 more stores. Like he's part of it, right? And like, I just never felt like we did that with our team before. And so I was like, oh, how do I get our team to feel that way about us? How do I make them take care of our baby with care the way that we would, or at least have the intention, right? And so
first thing is none of them are on payroll, so
that's one thing. So that's a big difference, yeah.
And I feel like financial always.
But the intention, right? So I want that.
There's still
that mind in
activities.
me.
Yeah, activities like all these mixers.
Yeah.
We have to go in as a team.
Yeah.
And they will feel solid.
Yeah. And I want to also.
Yeah.
It's more fun. I want to have fun with what we do. Before we were getting to a place where it wasn't fun.
Yeah.
Like we couldn't have fun together doing business. We could only have fun if we weren't talking about business, which was bad, is because business is 90% of the thing. Every day it's business, right? So we had to find a way to be a team, a true team, for one, just us together, if it was just us, because it is just us most of the time. And then if we could do that, we could extend that to other people like Qua and Jenna. But I think we had to learn first, like, what does it mean to really be a team? You and I, what does that mean? And so we're in it right now. And like, I'm super happy. Like, I didn't think it was possible 2 months ago. I was really doubting it.
Everything is balancing out. Everything is
settling down.
It's settling, but then always refining. And it was true when we first moved into this house, and it's very superstitious of us to think about the numbers of our home adds up to 22. But if
numerology, yeah.
Yeah, the numerology of your home, if you add it up, there's actually significant meanings to these numbers.
What's our house
number? And ours is 22, which is the master plan. The master plan,
yeah. What does that mean?
So within the master plan, the energy is very strong.
Yeah.
Meaning that it can overpower us, the people that are living in it. So if you don't have your goals in check, you're not delegating enough in your business, then you'll feel off balanced in this house. And then it said it right there in the content. Once you start delegating, once you start to let go, you'll find the balance of this home. Yeah.
Cool.
And you'll live a happier life.
You read that, huh?
Yeah, I remember that. I'm like,
because
okay,
it's you. It was your challenge. Yeah.
I'm like, I'm freaking going to live in this house, and this is what it's saying, or this is what that lady wrote. So I was like, okay.
Yeah.
22
meaning like, dude, you have a lot of power.
Yeah.
And potential with this home, right? I think that's what I gathered from it, how I interpreted the numerology of it. But if you don't wield it the right way, like if you don't sit down and do the work,
you won't own it.
You won't own it. It will own you. Like you'll feel trapped. You'll feel trapped in the home. You're not going to want to go out. You're not going to I remember that it's saying like, be careful being in this 22 home because you're going to not want to go out.
Yeah, you won't want to see friends or family.
And that was my challenge, right?
Yeah.
So, but now we're kind of like coming into our own, being a year in this home.
2 years.
2 years?
Yeah.
We've been here 2 years?
It's going to be 2 years.
It's going to be 2 years, but we've had a solid year in here. So a solid year and a half.
Yeah.
But, and I remember I really, really rallied for this, lobbied for this home, or for us to move in general, because we were living at your parents, and it was suffocating for me, being the wife, not being the daughter of your mom. So, well, daughter-in-law now. So I really lobbied for this, and I really hope that we didn't rush the decision, but I kind of depended on you to really want it and own it too, this idea of a place of our own. I really remember like, dude, when we have our own spot, our minds are going to be able to go to that next level. When we have that place where there's no distraction, no interruption, all the things that we were dealing with the old home, because it's very true, like where your home is, it emanates from there. So if your home is in shit, and not in shit, but like not in the right place, or it's in turmoil, or you have tumultuous relationships in that house or with the house itself, I just couldn't see us expanding or growing beyond and reaching what we actually wanted to do.
Yeah.
Always felt a little bit hitting a ceiling there, mentally, emotionally, all these things.
I think we maxed it out over there.
I think we had its time in the sun. That was where we fell in love. That's where we really nurtured our relationship early on. We lived together right away during our relationship, and we learned how to live together first, and we built a company together that we
started in a room.
Started in a room, right? You were editing on a nightstand. You had this big ass iMac on a nightstand, so the computer was bigger than the nightstand.
It was funny.
But we just worked away at it, and we didn't think much about it because we were young, and so it had its time in the sun, that home. And when we were able to, like, in our second year of marriage, have a place of our own, it was just so liberating, and I'm so happy that we have this. Even though you're always complaining. I told Annie Ramel yesterday, Kevin never stops telling me when he wants to move. And he's like always telling me, hey, we got to make a profit for 2 years so we can move. I was like, okay, let's do it. So I'm happy as long as we have a place of our own. It makes sense. I really don't like. It's great.
Why I got into stocks. I want to make it happen.
Oh man, stocks, yeah. So she's trying to get me into stocks, and I'm like, yay! I'm not that into it.
It's the next whiskey.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, that's what I was thinking of the other day. I was like, I was telling you, stop buying whiskey so you're moving on to a new passion. Well, I mean, this is cool because stocks can make us money. So that's why I'm not really saying anything. I'm like, okay.
Whiskey can make you money if you don't open the bottle.
Yeah, and if you actually sell it, which I don't think you ever will because you've never sold your shoes.
Yeah.
So
no, too much.
I don't think
memories.
So stocks, I think, is a good idea. I'm gonna let you just handle that.
Well, you invested. You should just return your 100 because you're not doing.
Well, I'm just
anything.
playing, right? So if I can, I want to.
You still want to learn it?
I'm excited, but I'm not that excited
Yeah.
as you are, right? Like, it just really does not interest me. But I think it is valuable information. So I think if I have $100 to play with, I think that's fine. And I'm gonna learn on my own terms. But don't expect me to be all gung ho about it. I keep just telling you, which you're already doing. You're going to ask people questions, the right people, and just kind of bide your time, which is good. So that I don't have to be forced along.
It's always been a mystery. It sucks to me.
Right.
Like,
well, they make it that way, I think.
Yeah, I never understood it. And I want to understand it.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, do it.
So.
Yeah, you're going to ask, Nathan,
every morning, I'm always looking.
Yeah. Something for you to do. Like, that's fine.
But today it grew. Yeah. Even more.
It's going to grow. It's going to dip. Yeah. It's going to do all the things. The only thing that I knew about stocks, and then my only thing with you is, like, don't be
like Bitcoin.
Yeah. Don't, what I say, like, don't get emotionally attached.
Yeah.
Something I learned from Jeff was, like, his biggest thing is, as long as you're not emotionally attached to money, which is something everyone deals with, is even him at this point. So I said, if you can play with $100 because you were worried about spending $100, I was like, I don't think you're ready for investing.
Yeah.
Like me, I don't know anything about investing, but if you can't play with $100, probably not ready to play with 20 grand, right? Definitely not. So training your mind to not think of money as to be so emotionally attached to it, I would say, is probably step one. And the app that you're using, which is Robinhood, is a good.
It's a good stepping stone.
I
feel like it's a really good beginner app to really dive into it.
Yeah.
And then I started searching like more advanced apps out there.
Yeah.
But I'm just playing around right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another thing too, last time we left the show, we were doing a really once in a lifetime Nika tasting. And how was that? How'd you like that?
Didn't we speak about that already?
Well, this is after.
Oh, is this after? Wow.
So your after experience.
Yeah, it was. I would say Nika was like, I barely could hear the person that was speaking about the history of it.
She was kind of,
which is cool. I mean, we have a good Japanese whiskey book that we can always refer to, and it basically covered whatever she spoke about.
Yeah.
Some whiskey did surprise us, and we both have the same palates.
Yeah.
Like two of the whiskey.
Yeah.
They were stinky. There's just something smelly about it.
Top three. What is your top three?
The top three, well, the number one that I really like is the Nika Takasura 17.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the most balanced whiskey out of the Nika that we tried that night.
Yeah.
Because we tried pretty much all the Nikas that night.
All the good ones, yeah.
All the good ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, from the Nika Samurai
Not a bad
to
one.
even the Nika Takasura 21 that goes for $1,000. I still felt the 17-year was a lot better.
Yeah, it was. It was more balanced. And
Yeah.
21 was smooth. It was nice and smooth, but it didn't have any.
Yeah, it was smooth.
Too
but
smooth,
it was
I guess.
Spicy.
Yeah, too smooth for me.
And then it had like a kick to it. Whereas the 17, it was like a nice roller coaster, but it was all smooth all around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to try some really cool stuff.
And then you like from the barrel.
Yeah, I like Nika from the Barrel.
Yeah.
Nika from the Barrel won Whiskey of the Year
That was
in
really hot.
2018. Had a nice punch. I
Yeah.
like that. I'm finding that I'm liking spicy stuff, and I think maybe something go into some more ryes, like we've tried Whistle Pig and stuff. So, and I like that. I like that little bite at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like something to be more. Have something, I like that little zing.
Have a little spark.
Little spark, yeah. Not
Yeah.
too boring. If I'm bored, it's like.
I feel like I just like something smooth because it's something to chill on.
Yeah. I'll chill on the spicy one.
Takasura 17 is
Nothing
good.
wrong with number 17. Not bad at all.
Yeah.
And then
$450.
yeah. Yeah. Woo wee. So yeah, that was basically a once in a lifetime opportunity to try all that stuff. So we were really happy with that, and it was such a great value
It's really great value
for what you get.
I mean, when they originally released the tickets, it was like $114.
Oh, so it just
yeah, we signed
so it
up
was
a
even
little
better value
late, but
before.
then $114.
Yeah.
If you
Not
guys
bad.
want to do whiskey tasting, just go on Eventbrite and just type in whiskey tasting
And
and
see what's out there.
yeah, there's many out there.
Yeah, and then you'll meet some interesting characters along the way.
Yeah. Yeah, either an alcoholic or
Or
This
versed. We met a well versed gentleman, very nice,
Yeah.
polite. Was a fisherman as well, so that was cool. Yeah. Also, bringing up fishermen, we went fishing
yeah, we went fishing locally again.
Yeah. with the
And we
family.
caught 2 fish.
And we caught 2 fish. Yeah, that felt good, but
Rainbow trout.
it didn't feel as good as it will feel when we catch them on our fly rods. So we're our new hobby together to learn together is fly fishing. We went to a fly fishing little seminar. It was like 3 hours long. We had to leave early because I was so hungry. And this dude was like, I appreciate it, right? Like this free course, but it was just like it was painfully slow. It's like this old gentleman teaching us, and every time he teaches you something technical, he has a story along with it.
He's
which,
trying to get you to visualize it.
yeah, he's trying to entertain you as well. So I get that, but in the end, it was because we know it's not like we're starting from zero. Which if you were starting from zero, maybe it would have been more valuable. And the class was full. And I was like, whoa, I thought we were going to be the only ones, but it was pretty full. So a lot of people out there learning fly fishing, some young people, mostly older folks. But now,
yeah, it's mainly another expensive hobby.
no, we're done. We're done, basically.
No, I don't think we're done.
We're basically
Because
done.
every time you got fish, you got to buy a license.
Well, we can get a license for the year.
Oh, I see.
But to go to Prado, yeah, we
Even
still got to pay
permits.
extra. Yeah.
You have to buy a permit.
It's
because
because they stock it.
Oh,
Yeah. They stock it, that's why.
yeah.
So you're paying for that fish.
Oh, yeah.
And in essence, you're paying for them to put the fish in there.
We just need to be smarter on the time of day that you should fish.
Yeah. People are coming in like close to dusk, which I already knew. But then they close the park at dusk. It's like not even dusk. They close at 5.
Change it.
So that was really cool to get some fish on the line, even though we traditionally fished that day. But now we're trying to gear up for Chi's birthday to try to plan some kind of fishing trip. But I don't know if that will actually happen. But we're trying to do that. We're trying to. I think that's the hardest part about learning the fly fishing is like, dude, where do you go, right? And then with fly fishing, there's so much skill to master, and one of them is how to read the water.
Yeah,
right?
and they say that you can if you have your polarized sunglasses, you can actually find them.
It's true. I mean, my dad told me that a long time ago, and my dad's an avid fisherman, and he has all the things before, so I know a lot about fishing in general. But in terms of like freshwater fishing, because we did a lot of saltwater, it's a little bit more different. The setup is different. The terms are a little different. The way that you present the fly. We have this really cool book we picked up from Field and Stream that I'm reading religiously and trying to learn until fish season starts up again in end of April. Right. So, yeah, we're gonna try.
Yeah.
I feel like I just found out we were doing it wrong the whole time. So you're supposed to have this like 12 feet of clear line, basically, at the end of that floating line. So we were quite off. Even if we did fish, even if there were fish when we were fishing fly,
snapped.
well, no, they would have seen the floating line and been like, oh, and then go away. So we basically scared any fish if there was fish.
Oh.
Yeah. So I'm learning.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the most important skill that we can really get down is the casting. So that's going to be something else. Yeah. Other than that, what else is going on?
I think that's it.
That's it. All right. Well, that was Pass the Aisle.
Yeah. That was Pass the Aisle.
What are we looking forward to in the week?
In the week. We're going to another party.
Yeah.
We're seeing John and Jessica.
Yeah.
Don't watch this. Oh yeah. We're not seeing you.
Why? Oh yeah. They don't watch this.
Yeah, you never know.
Especially John wouldn't watch. He doesn't care.
And that's it.
No, we're going to another. What do you mean, like a vendor party?
Yeah, another vendor party. I didn't really read much into it.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited because I finally bought. I'm not going to be wearing the same skirt that I've been wearing for 5 years. But okay, guys. So thanks so much for joining us here on Pass the Aisle. We'll see you next time.
See you guys.
Peace.
Bye.